Hi there. So I'll remind you, part 1, sometime this week. I'm really trying to limit the amount of homework that I give you because I understand you guys are knackered just as much as the staff are with COVID stuff, whether it be your friends, your family. Some of you have had COVID or had to isolate. It's a lot. So please do make sure that when it's a little bit of homework you keep up, otherwise it's going to mount up. Hoping, remember the aim, the goal is that you give me this finished next week. That's on Thursday, that's right. And it's doable if we don't stuff around. If you do a little bit all the time, it's quite nice. So if you look at what you had to do for part 2, it was to find a car, work out the stamp duty, which you just had to Google, and work out 15%. So that shouldn't have taken long at all. If you haven't done that, don't be too alarmed because you can do it in 5 minutes, but you're behind the 8 ball. Part 3, you then had to just go on and get a bank loan. So make sure you get that hyperlink, you get the screenshot. Did you go to Westpac, NAB, Commonwealth, what have you? Right? Get the personal loan and you're using the base fixed rate. So you find your rate. We okay with that? The next bit is, so you then need to Google. So I'll come and have a chat with you and you tell me what bank you Googled and show me. So that will be next, as soon as I finish this. All right. Once you have found your rate, so let's imagine I went to Westpac, I got my rate, I've written down whether it was secured, unsecured. I've also sussed out what were my fees, right? And I've written that down. Can we all look and listen, please? So we're not typing, we're not looking at anyone else's computer, we're listening because I don't want to say this umpteen million times. Luke, thanks. Right? Some of them might have no fees. Some will have. Some will have an upfront fee of $250. And in your report, right, let's take Pippa and Jack. So Pippa and Jack use the same bank. Pippa goes, yeah, that $250, I'm paying that off right at the start. Jack goes, well, I haven't got $250. I'm going to add that onto my loan. So his loan now becomes $25,250. Right? You make that choice, but you make it clear in your report with just a simple sentence. These were the fees. This is how I'm dealing with the fees. Right? I went and asked Mum and Dad, my birthday's coming up. Can you do me a favour? I don't want a fancy dinner or anything. Can you just pay my fee on the loan for me? Okay. Right? They might have said, get real. You're in the big world now. Do it yourself. Bad luck. You're adding it onto your loan. So just tell me what you're doing. And if, of course, you say you're adding it onto your loan, add it on. Don't say you've done it and then not actually do it. Yes, dear? No, don't worry about the comparison rate. We'll talk about that later. All right. So then, I think I showed you the other day, Westpac also had $12 every month. Right? Again, Pippa can decide, well, I'm going to work out what my repayment is every month, and I'm just going to add on the $12. Jack might decide to go, I know it's for 50 years, so 50 years, that's a long time for a loan, 5 years. I know it's for 5 years, times 12 because there's 12 months, and I'm paying $12 every month, and he's again going to add this on to his loan. Is there a right or a wrong? Nope. It's whatever Jack decide or Pippa decide, you decide to do. Does that make sense? You're probably better off going, I'm going to do my repayment and add on the $12. Why? Well, you're going to get charged interest on that, aren't you? If you add it onto your loan. Anything you add on to what you borrow, you're going to get pinged interest. All right. So we're happy with that? Okay. Grab your graphics calculators, everybody. So we should be pretty good at entering that information in. So for me, why is it 60? Because it was 5 times 12. We're doing it for 5 years. If it was 4 years, thanks, honey Lily. If it was 4 years, it was 4 times 12, etc., etc. I've put 6 as my interest rate. You would put whatever your interest rate is. You put your PV in, how much you've borrowed. PMT is 0, FV, PY is 12. All good? And we go PMT. 231.99. I'm going to make that 232. Off you, okay? So this is what you're paying each month. So what is your total paid? Excellent. It's going to be 232 times 60 in our case, so times 5 times 12, and you'll get the total. The interest that you pay. The interest paid will be this answer here minus what you borrowed. 25,000. Oui? Yep. So, part 4 is you now exploring other saving strategies. So, one of the best ones that you're going to do is go, do you know what? This is what the bank tells me to pay. But I'm going to go, I didn't borrow my maximum amount. So I've actually got an extra $20 a month. Let's say 25. I've got an extra $25 a month that I'm not going to go out to dinner. I'm not going to go spend on the movies or whatever. I'm going to put that into my monthly repayment. I'm not going to be getting a coffee every day, rather than I'm going to pop that 25 bucks onto the loan. So this is what we have to do now. Has everyone got this stuff in? You've got that? So make sure it's in. So what is your new PMT going to now be? Instead of 232, we're adding on an extra $25, so $257 you're paying per month. What do you think is going to happen? What out of all of these things changes? Yep. Yes, the time. You're not going to pay an extra sum for longer, are you? The time is now going to be reduced. So we go over here. We go, our new payment is now minus 257. We still borrowed the same amount. Interest rate is still the same. But as Luke has said, the amount of time that you pay it off for, instead of 60 months, hopefully it gets shorter. How can we find out how short? You press in. God, I love these calculators. 53.3. So we're going to round that up. Believe it or not, we are going to round that to 50. Actually, no, you can go 53. So it means 53 months, aka 53 payments are going to be made. Oui? So how much will you pay in total? Yes! You pay 257, 53 times. What's that? As opposed to 14,100. Shh. So, by increasing your payments by $25 a month, right, what have you ended up saving? Minus 13. 479? 479, so 480 bucks you've saved just by paying 25 bucks extra, and you've paid it off sooner. Yes? Sienna might then go, ooh, well, 25 bucks. Well, you know what? I'm going to be bold, and I might not, don't worry about 25. I'm going to say 35 and say how much that's things, right? Don't do that. Don't just keep changing the repayments. You can do other things. It might be Luke says, you know what? I want to pay it off, not 5 years. I want to pay it off in 4 years. So you're going to change the N, get a new repayment. Yes, but now we're changing stuff in part 4, right? Now, what's the bad thing of changing from 5 years to 4 years? You're going to have to pay more per month. Now, it might mean, what's your limit? No, what was his limit per month? or her, Jamie's limit per month? $900. So you might say, I want to reduce it to...
Wait, $900 just for this?
Yep. But that's one of the things. In Teams, there's another sheet there that shows you how you could change paying, I think, fortnightly to monthly. What if Bahija goes, you know what? Get lost, Westpac. I'm going to a credit union, and instead of 6% interest, I have found the credit union that offers me 5.5. How does that change? What would happen if it's a lower interest rate? You'll pay less interest. Ruby says, I'm going to take that less interest, but I'm going to keep the repayments that I had for the high interest. How much do I save then? Do you see what you have to do? It's not a whole lot of mathematics. It's using your technology, your calculator. Oui, oui? No, no? Shh. Right, well, I think, does people get what's going on? Some of you? Well, some of you have been away. Yep. All right, so carry on for those who have got the gist, and I'll come and see those people who still need assistance.